Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this session, I'm going to explain how we are going to doing the Spring Boot validations, basically a bean validation. Bean means whenever we are going to create any kind of like let's say we are going to create any employees into our database. So before inserting the record into our database, we need to validate that whatever the request we are getting from the either Postman or maybe from the Angular or maybe from the React, those requests are valid or not. Like let's say first name is the mandatory fields, okay, but let's say somehow they are not passing that particular variable into the system. So we need to alert the user like the first name should not be null, it should be the valid, right? So this kind of validations we are going to achieve using the Spring Boot validations with some annotations without writing the boilerplate code. So what is the, like, I'm going to cover the new things here. Like previously, I have created one example related to that one tutorial that is already available in my tutorial. You can get it search over here, or also I will share the link in the description section of this tutorial. So what I have covered the similar kind of things over here, but the thing is that those messages are available in the message.properties file. So now the new thing is that instead of like putting those messages into the properties file, I am going to put those messages into the database, and from the database based on the code I am going to pull those information from the database. So what is the benefit of it, right? So what, like here, what kind of problems we are going to solve over here? In most of the Spring Boot applications, validation messages are stored into the message.properties file, correct? But in real enterprise applications, messages often need to be changed dynamically without redeploying the application. Let's say we need to change some of the names and we are keeping those messages into this here, let's say application.properties file, right? Now let's say if we want to modify any messages, that means we need to redeploy this application into the production, right? But instead of that, if we are going to add those messages into the database, then from the backend we just need to modify the back in the database so that it will be automatically reflect, right? So today we are going to see how to load validation messages directly from database and how Spring internally pick these messages, right? That means I'm also going to explain the how it is internally work. So what will be the goal to this? Like validation message we are going to store into the DB, no message.properties, or we are not going to store all the things into the application.properties, as well as those messages are resolved dynamically, and also you're going to understand the workflow of it, right? So how this validation basically works by default, right? So let's say we are putting one annotation in DTO at the rate not blank, right? Then it will pick by the Hibernate validator. Then Hibernate validator basically going to the message source, which is the properties file, and then it will pick the records from the message.properties file. Spring Boot by default auto configures a message source. Validation engines uses message.properties. So this is the one kind of the static and requires redeploy to change the messages. Now we are going to apply the database level architecture, right? So how we are going to doing that? So first of all, we need to create two tables. So let me open this one table is basically which will store the messages. So this is will be the table that we need to create, validation underscore message, where we are going to keeping this key and the values, and these are the keys and these are the values: name, user name dot required, size, email, and invalid. Okay, so these are the key and this is the value. Next, what we are going to do, first of all, as we are using the uh, like Spring Boot with the JPA, so let just briefly go through over the like pom.file, like what kind of validations, what kind of dependencies we have used over here. So first of all, that is starter web. Then as a database here, I am using the in-memory database, H2 database, but you guys can use any database like MySQL, Oracle, Postgre. Okay, and this is the Spring Boot starter validations, right? This is the important to use this validations kind of things. So next, what we are going to do? We are going to create that particular database table over here, right? So let us create that entity. We can create that entity over here. Okay, so this is the entity, right? Like validation underscore message, and then this is the key and this is the value. So we need to use the getter and setter over here. Getter, setter. Okay. Next, we are going to use that repository for that, right? This is the repository that we have created. We can create another package over here just to like follow the recommendations kind of things, right? And properly structure of the thing. So let's say create one another package, let's say entity, okay? And we can move these two things over there under this entity, okay? Okay. Next, what we are going to create? Next, we are going to create this database message resource. So I will explain like how it is actually worked. But before that, let create it. So for that, let create another package, new package, and put the name as resolver. Okay. Create this class. Okay, this database message resource. So what it will do? So it will basically what is, let understand what is message resource. Okay, so message resource is a Spring interface used to resolve message based on the keys. Okay, so this is basically a validation framework always asks a message resource to convert a key into the text, right? Why we are going to extend this abstract message resource? So it is a provide the default logic. We only override how the message is basically fetch. And this resolve code, what it will do, let's say we have used the at the rate not blank annotation with the message keys. This is the message key, let's say. Okay, let's say this is the message key. Okay. Now what it will do, it will check this. So that means here once this will execute, it will take the code as a this key, and this is the language. Okay, so based on the key, it will pull the details from the database and it will return the message. Okay, so this is the basically responsibilities of this particular class. Now we need to create the configurations main, which will basically connect everything. Everything means, let me create another here. This is the bean creation, okay, validation config. So here we are creating the bean, right? So this local, this is the local validator factory bean. This is the basically bridge between the Spring and the Hibernate validator. Okay, it tells which validator we are going to use and which message source we are going to use. So here if you see that this the message source is the database message source. That means we are going to use the database, means we are going to take the properties details from the database. Okay, so why basically we are going to override over here? Like by default it points to the properties file. Like if we put some properties over here, so by default it is picking the details from this properties file. But instead of that, we need to pick the property details with the value from the database. So that's why we did the override over here, and we are picking the data from the database. So this is the connecting between the Spring and the Hibernate validator. How it is internally working? Like it will check the validation annotations, then Hibernate validator, then local validator factory bin, and then database message source, and then finally it is picking the data from the database, right? Okay, so this is about these configurations. So next what we are going to do, we are going to create one DTO, request DTO basically, right? So let us create one DTO package over here, new package, let's say DTO. Okay, so let create one package and one bin or DTO over here, let's say user DTO. If you see over here in the user DTO, so here basically what we are doing, we are using this at the rate not blank annotations where the key is this is, right? And the size annotations which will check the minimum size of this particular fields. So here we have defining the size will be the 3 and the message will be this, right? Same, this is the email. So this is doing the email validation format. In case we are providing the any invalid format, then it will give us this message like the please provide the valid format, or whatever the message we need to set over here, that message we are going to pick from the database, and also at the rate not blank, right? So like this is the key basically, right? And this key is basically sent to the message source. Okay, I hope it's clear. Okay, now basically what it will do, the client send the request. This is the request basically that is sending by the client. Okay, then Spring basically convert this JSON to this DTO, right? Then I am going to write one controller over there. So what this controller will do, controller, let us write the controller, because controller it will be exposed, right? We need to write one controller dot package. Here we are going to create this controller. Okay, and then we need to write another things, that is a global exception handler. So that controller, if you see, we are using this create user, this is a post mapping, and here we are using the at the rate valid annotation, and along with this, this is the request body. Okay, okay, another things we need to create, that is the exception handling, that is we need to create one global exception class. Let us create another package, that is, let's say exception. Okay, and this is the global exception, means from wherever the any exception will occur, so it will come over here, right? So this is the global exception handler. Now let me explain that how it will work. So once it will check this at the rate valid annotation over here, it will trigger the validations, right? Then Hibernate validator finds the constraint violation, then validator sees this kind of keys over here, correct? Then it will call the message source. Message source basically queries, right? Here if you see this, it will queries, right? And then DB return the message. Exception contains this resolve message, this one, and global handler, that exception will basically return, it will send the clean response to the user, right? So why this is works without properties file? Because we completely replace the default message source. Spring never looks at the message.properties file. It is always going to the database, right? So this is the overall things that how we are going to pick the messages from the database. Okay, instead of looking into the properties file. Next what I'm going to do, next I'm going to start this application, I will create the tables, and I will run this one from the postman so that we can see those error messages into the response. I hope till now it is clear. Okay, so now what we are going to do, we are going to start this application. So I've already started the application. Here if you see that, okay, the application gets started on the 880 port. The h2 console is available here, right? h2/console, and here it's showing all the database related things, like this is the URL, this is the driver, this is the dialect, and this is the schema. Okay, now we need to create the table into the h2 database. So here, okay, let me rerun it. connect. We need to create the first of all, because the database table is not here, so table got created. And next we need to insert these records. Okay, clear it, run selected. So now the 4 records is over here, correct? Clear, run selected. So these are the over here. So now basically from the postman, http localhost 880 and the users. So now once we clicked on the send button, then it will, because name is also invalid, name must have 3 character because it is a empty, correct? So email also is mandatory. Now let's say put some kind of dummy email over here, test. Okay, so now what it will give us the message, like email format is invalid. Okay, now put some name over here. Now if you see that length is 2, so here it will be see that name must have 3, at least 3 characters. So that means all the messages are coming from the this database. And here if you see that this global exception message, these are the throwing those details. So now if you see that we are not storing any kind of details, any kind of messages into the properties file. So all the details are coming from the database. Database means from this Hibernate, sorry, from this H2 database. So this is the benefit of it, right? How we are going to store these things into the database and pick those messages from the database. So I hope it is clear, like how we are going to uh, pick the messages, error messages from the database instead of storing into the properties file. I've also explained about the how it is internally it is connected, right? I hope it's clear now. So now when basically we are going to use these DB based messages, maybe for the enterprise app, if we want to dynamic messages, update the dynamic message, admin, if the admin manages going to the manage those messages, then this is the benefit for them. So today what we learned? We learned how Spring internally resolve validation messages and how we can override it to fetch messages from the database. And also understand the internal flow that helps us to build flexible and scalable application. That's for this tutorial. If you guys have anything, please do let me know in the comment section. Thanks for your time. See you in my next videos. Bye bye.